When we talk about leadership and the styles or how we prefer to work, obviously we have to talk about like profile types. And I'm going to talk about like the three main profile like personality tests that I'm aware of, at least here in Brazil, and just so you get to know them a little bit. I'm not a specialist by any means in any of them, so I strongly advise you to look on the internet for content. All right. The first one will be MBTI, which is Myers-Briggs type indicator. I think they are daughter and mother or two sisters. I'm not sure of scientists. And the MBTI, it stands actually it's there are four dimensions, and each dimension you can be there are two options. So in the end you have a 16 sorry 16 personality types, and they go as follow. The first dimension is interaction, whether you prefer to deal to recharge your batteries by dealing with people or by being alone by yourself. It doesn't mean that like an introvert person doesn't like to be with people, but their energy is drained when they deal with other people, right? So obviously they will get tired faster by having to deal with people for an extensive period of time. So you are an extrovert, like you're an E or you're an I, if you prefer like recharge your battery by dealing with people or by being alone. The second dimension is information, whether you prefer to deal with tangible and concrete data, like you make sense of things that are there, right? Like they are obviously there, or you are an intuition kind of person with if you make sense out of relationship between data. Like it doesn't mean that you are more pragmatic or that you're not pragmatic. That just means that you, by having lots of data, how you prefer to deal with them. For example, though I am very pragmatic, I am type N, because I create relations between different sets of data. The second one will be decisions, whether you prefer to think, to reason your way out of a process by being more detached from the situation, or you tend to decide by empathizing with the situation, right? So you are a thinking person, like type T. If you and this you correlate them, so I am, for example, ENT, right? So that's why you have 16 types here. So thinking, you reason your way by being detached from the situation, so you tend to be more rational. As a feeling, you tend to get involved with feelings more to make sense out of situations. The fourth and last dimension is regarding complexity of the world. You have judging person, if you are more strict person, like you prefer data that are more structured, and you prefer like theories to approach the situations, or you are perceiving if you tend to keep things unstructured and keeping options open, right? And I am so in the end I am a ENTJ, right? So that's how people present themselves when using the MBTA. So you can be ISFP, for example, and this is a personality type to yourself. All right. So there are tests that you can take online to check out your personality tests, your type indicator using MBTI. The second one will be Enneagram, and I really like this one because instead of um, writing out your personality as a whole, this actually deals more with your preferences, as in what you value the most in life, right? So I'm type 7, there are 9 types. I'm type 7 and I prefer freedom and options and new things, right? Novelty. So if I prefer like freedom, obviously I have this kind of attitude that I'm always looking forward toward what's the next thing, right? And when I'm deprived of my freedom, then I start to get angry. So that's something that I hold very close to me. I tend to be very, I would say, insecure, because your biggest strength is often your weakness, right? So if I value freedom, then obviously when I notice that something or someone is trying to take my freedom from me, then I start to get angry, and that's something that obviously gives me and gives us, like type 7, stress, right? So everyone has this value that they hold close to their hearts, and it's very important that you find what you value the most. I will talk about it later in this course, because it's something very important for you to identify in others, right? So you have the one is perfectionism. Two, I don't remember the second, the type two. Three is self-image, and so on, right? So everyone has. At 8 is control. 9 is harmony. You find like different terms like in different blogs, but like in this way there are like several types, right? Several definitions, sorry. And the disc type, the disc personality type, is comprised of 4 values. They have a range. I don't recall it. I think it goes from either from 0 to 5 or from 0 to 10. I don't recall. But you have these 4 letters, and you can be like 7 in D and 0 in S, or 1 in C. I don't know. And then you have your preferences too. So D is for dominance, is how in control you want to be of things, and how you deal with problems and challenges. So you are a very dominant person. If you are a very dominant person, then you want to control things, right? You want things to be done in your way, how you want, how you perceive the correct way of things being. Influence is if you like dealing with people, and if you're good, not necessarily good at it, but like for example, if you are high in D but low in I, then it means that you tend to be more alone, because you want to do things in your way, but you don't like dealing with people. So it generally will mean that you be very rude to people, and you want to do things. Don't you want you won't want to do things in groups, because you don't like dealing with people and you want things in your way. Okay. And as is for steadiness, it means that you value not conformity, but like harmony and balance. You want things to be very steady, right? So that's why it's steadiness. So a person that is very high in steadiness, it means that they don't like change. As if you are low in steadiness, it means that you deal with change and you kind of seek it, right? So you want it to happen. And C is for consciousness. Is regard what is Correct. So a very high person in C will abide to rules way more than a person that with lower C. So a person lower in C will tend to be a person that likes to break the rules. So imagine, then you can kind of relate things. Imagine you are being a very high in D, very high in steadiness, and very high in C. You will be a control freak because you will want things, you have this idea of how things are supposed to be done. You have this very systematic approach and you don't like change at all. So you will want the control freak. And if you are lower in I, then you have a very hard time dealing with people and managing people, and these people obviously will have a hard time dealing with you as well. One thing, oh, there's an S lacking here. One thing here is that none of these tests have a scientific validation, meaning that they are not like completely validated through theory and testing. So and I mean it, none of these tests, these three tests, have this scientific validation from the community, like scientific community. So they are not to be taken as not serious, because I really like them. Like it helps you make sense out of the world, but you shouldn't take them as the truth, right? There isn't such things as the truth when we're talking about like dividing people into categories. Like no test has achieved this. All right. So this is just a thing that I really like the personality test. I love to take them. Even if it's on BuzzFeed, I love to take them because it helps me make sense of myself, self-analyze, be more conscious about my own preferences. So I strongly advise you to look for this and to learn more about yourself. I think it really helps.